So good afternoon, everybody. It's a great pleasure to be here today, and it's great to see so many of you. As GM of Sustainability at Sanford, New Zealand's largest seafood company, it's a real privilege to represent New Zealand here today as part of the seafood business community. A very warm welcome to also my fellow speakers, and thank you, Nathan, and also thank you to Geraldine for emceeing this session for us. And also for the team at Rabobank. You've done an amazing job of bringing all this together. I know it must be some mean feat to bring together this many people. So I'm going to begin today with Charlie. Now, Charlie is 6 years old here, and she's the granddaughter of one of Sanford's skippers, John Bennett. She's a third-generation recreational fisher. She absolutely loves fishing and the marine environment, and she has these aspirations to be a marine biologist one day. So to me, she symbolises the future. But what will the future hold for a child like Charlie? So this photo was on the front cover of our 2017 annual report and was the inspiration for the title that we had, which was The Power of And. Her innocent face is a symbol of our commitment to sustainability, and it means so much to us at Sanford. It's about recognising that what we do today has a really big impact on the sort of planet that we'll leave for kids like Charlie. So with careful planning and a balanced approach, Sanford's delivering sustainability and profitability, and also returns on investments and reductions in our footprint as a business. So today I want to give you a bit of a sense of how important sustainability is for our business, but also the interdependence of it with the financial success with sustainability and everything that we do. I'm going to describe a little bit about how our approach towards integrated thinking and reporting serves as an important basis for informing and communicating our value creation goals. And I'll touch on some examples of our transformational journey here, which is driving significant value to our own business, both now and into the future. Sanford's New Zealand's largest fisheries and aquaculture business by both revenue and quota holding. We're the longest established public company on the New Zealand Stock Exchange, and we date back some 137 years, so a lot's gone on in that time. We currently hold about 22% of New Zealand's fishing quota under the quota management system. We employ around 1,700 people, mostly in New Zealand, but a few offshore as well. We've got a really diverse business. So 70% of our revenue comes from our wild caught fishing, which includes deep water scampi and finfish, and also we have inshore finfish, and around 30% of our revenue currently comes from aquaculture, and that comprises both salmon farms and mussel farms around New Zealand. We reach out to a broad range of export markets, including Europe, Africa, Asia, Australia, of course, and North America. Currently, we supply beautiful New Zealand seafood into around 75 countries globally. Over the past 5 years, it'd be fair to say that the company's been transforming from a high-volume, low-value commodity business very much into one that's value-focused, customer-driven, innovative, with brands and also product diversification being at the heart. We've got closer to our consumers, particularly in New Zealand with our focus around fresh fish, and also recently we've undertaken a major refurbishment of the Auckland Fish Market and included 8 eateries, which particularly showcase lesser-known species. We also have a seafood school, which does the same. So innovation within the company is seen as diversify products into nutraceuticals and cosmeceuticals, which I'll touch on a little bit more later. The salmon business has also undergone some major transformation. It's now one of the most profitable segments for Sanford and in our portfolio because we now provide a branded offering, and that goes into high-end restaurants around New Zealand, but also particularly in the USA at this point. And we do recognise that both sustainability and innovation are absolutely critical to our business, and the focus is very much for us around value creation in everything that we do. So New Zealand seafood accounts for less than 0.35% of the global world supply. So as you can imagine, we're never going to be able to compete on volume. However, we do have some excellent points of differentiation. We've got over 100 different species, for example, from sustainable stocks. We've got the 4th largest EEZ, or exclusive economic zone. We know that seafood has less impact on the environment compared to traditional protein sources such as red meats. And the global protein consumption growth outlook suggests that of all protein sources, fish will experience the greatest growth through to 2020. So as we've embarked on our transformational journey, we have definitely faced some interesting challenges and opportunities. The first of these is around our own culture internally within Sanford. We need to make sure that the mindset and capability to deliver continuous value creation exists, and also the other part of that is ensuring that we've got necessary infrastructure development, whether that's across our processing plants, our vessels, and also our aquaculture farms. After all, without that, we can't demonstrate operational or deliver operational excellence. We're also confronted with the very real realities of climate change and the impact that this has on our operations, and also changing consumer preferences with the emergence of alternative protein sources, and also the evolution of more discerning customers who are increasingly interested in the sustainability credentials of our products and services, using this to inform their own purchasing decisions. So there's also a lot happening out there in the broader context. So these are some of the stories from 2018 and also into 2019. And this, of course, ranges from issues like child poverty to terrorism, as Nathan mentioned, to Brexit, plastics in the environment, and also the impact of climate changes. These stories are definitely for us impacting on how we see our world and what we do as a business in response. Without doubt, I think it's fair to say we live in an increasingly challenging economic environment, which is subject to growing socio-economic and environmental disruption and uncertainty. And in that climate, it really is no easy task to maintain those short-term returns while ensuring we have sustained long-term growth. So at Sanford, we're only too aware that issues such as climate change, diversity and inclusion, labour practices and cyber risk have the potential both to create value or erode the value of us as a business. And we also know that for us, business success is not just about the financials anymore, it's also very much about ethical considerations. So what does it actually mean for Sanford? We've got a pretty bold vision, to be fair. Some would say maybe a little arrogant, but we want to be the best seafood company in the world through the sustainable growth of our business. And this is really founded on our belief that we have a responsibility to the environment in which we operate, and also society that grants us that licence to operate. So in this respect, we do understand that sustainability is fundamental to our business survival and ultimately the foundation for our growth. We also have a purpose to share the natural goodness of the oceans with uncompromising care. We firmly believe our people want to be part of an organisation where there's a purpose that goes beyond profit, where they can feel connected and proud of their contribution. The challenge for us is to bring this bold and aspirational vision and purpose to life, of course. And here we see sustainability as the foundation for business excellence. We've focused on 6 performance outcome areas here and have built these into our business strategies to help guide us in maintaining an equilibrium across our economic, social and environmental performance. Our performance outcomes, as you can see here, are about building a sustainable seafood business that enables us to deliver not just the financial performance, but also effective risk management and innovation, really importantly, creating a safe and high-performing workforce culture, leading the way to deliver healthy foods, but also marine extracts, enabling healthy oceans, supporting the communities and having partnerships in place to get to where we want to get to, and protecting and enhancing the environment, of course. So one of the important things here is that value creation in any one of these performance outcomes will typically create value across other areas as well. So if we look at the example of people and supporting our own employees through education and skills development, for example, to be the best that they can be, what that actually does is it positively impacts our own people, their productivity and also their performance, and ultimately that does improve our financial position. We've considered our ambitions also relative to the UN Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs. These are the UN goals that provide unprecedented international consensus on the level of progress needed at the global level across 17 areas of sustainability. So at Sanford, we've focused on 8 SDGs to which we think we can contribute the most towards making a positive difference. These cut across economic, social and environmental goals. And aligning our strategy with these goals has been valuable in creating a shared understanding of the risks, the opportunities and the ambition, but also a common language for sustainability that cuts across business, government, the academic community and also civil society. So when we think about value creation, we recognise the interconnections between the economic, social and environmental performance, and that's reflected in our own integrated business thinking that we report externally. We consider that as a publicly listed company, and we report against what creates value to the business in its very broadest sense. So as I mentioned earlier, stakeholder expectations are continuing to grow beyond that traditional financial performance, and that's reflected in our reporting. So to date, we've produced 5 integrated reports for which we've received a number of international awards. These reports do combine our financial and non-financial performance. So within the reports, we present our value creation story across those 6 performance outcome areas that I've mentioned. And within the report, we're focusing just not on reporting against our strategy, our business model, how we performed, the value we created, and our goals and aspirations for the future as well. So importantly, that reflects our future focus, and capturing the UN SDGs has been really important in terms of shaping our thinking, because what it's done is provided the catalyst for us to identify areas of stretch, particularly in areas like oceans management and climate change, where we've reflected on those global ambitions in the SDGs. Transparency means we don't just report the good things, though. It'd be much easier to do that, of course, but we also reflect on highs and lows. We acknowledge the challenges that we face, and it provides an honest and balanced review of our performance, and it aligns with one of our core values, which is around integrity. As our CEO highlights, we've taken a leap of faith in providing significant transparency to highlight the interdependence of our financial success with the sustainability of everything we're involved with, and that really shows that continuous value creation. So I guess the question is it desirable to put that much focus on sustainability? And are our aspirations for now and into the future achievable? It's a big question. Well, let's just turn our attention back to Charlie here and consider our commitment to preserve and enhance what we have for the kids of today and beyond. It's really a no-brainer, right? We have to ask ourselves, what will be the implications of not doing it? Over time, our integrated approach to reporting has helped us to evolve our thinking into now what's a really truly integrated business strategy, with sustainability as the foundation for business excellence and also value creation. A lot of work's gone into looking at our values, our vision, our purpose and our strategies. We've now got cross-functional business management teams for each of our divisions, and they have roadmaps and action plans outlining what we're going to do to deliver on our strategic intent. So what role do the stakeholders play in all of this? It's a really important part of defining the strategy to actually understand from their point of view, and when I say stakeholders, I'm talking internal and externally, those that are impacted by our activities and also those that can contribute to our ability to deliver on our strategy over time. So in 2018, the process also included 10 youth participants who we involved through an innovative workshop approach, which I'll touch on later. The matrix on the slide, which is from our most recent annual report, reflects the wide range of issues that have been identified as important or material to our business, with those at the top right being most important. This reflects a combination of stakeholder views and outputs also from other key business processes, such as our enterprise risk management process. We've grouped these once again according to those 6 performance outcome areas that I mentioned. As you can see, there's a real spread on here. So the purpose isn't to be able to read the slide, but to be able to sort of see the diversity of things we're faced with. So health, safety and wellbeing of our people, we've got social licence to operate, profitability, a really wide range of things coming through, 30 issues it kind of distilled down to. We're tracking changes over time as well, and what we've noticed is a big jump in the importance of climate change, for example, and also the emergence of future protein competition for the first time in 2017. So focusing on where the risks and opportunities lie is critical when linking sustainability with business strategy and also reporting authentically on what matters most. Now let's look at 4 examples of some of the tangible sustainability risks and opportunities we're focusing on and how these link to our business strategy and value creation journey. The first is culture. Human capital, or our people, are arguably the most valued asset in terms of making us the success that we are today. To reach their full potential and at the same time optimise value for Sanford and our workforce, they must be engaged, productive, and also equipped with the necessary skills and capabilities. We're also aware that sustainability stories are important in appealing to employees, providing an opportunity to both attract and retain talent. So having that clear vision, purpose and values are important in setting the tone and expectations of our business to everyone that works for Sanford. We're also focused on things like rewards and recognition, linking these to positive, tangible sustainability outcomes. So targeted sustainability initiatives, whether they're in terms of wellbeing, coastal cleanups, carbon or plastic reduction programs, build engagement and loyalty, delivering on our values of care, passion and integrity. This is a fantastic way of building a values-based culture, improving levels of engagement and enhancing the value we create both internally and externally. And I would stress here, we do have a way to go on this. It's always a journey. We're not at the destination, so I don't want you to think that it's solved all these problems, but certainly we're on that journey. So as I mentioned, we recently had a group of 18 to 25-year-old youths from throughout New Zealand for a thought-provoking workshop around making us the best seafood company in the world from a youth perspective. And this brought through the millennial perspective into our thinking, and we recognise really that they are important as our future employees, customers and investors, so their views really do come into the mix. So let's look at a video of the workshop.
The youth may only be 25% of the world's population, but we are 100% the future. And so, to sustain the future, you need to hear us out.
It's absolutely imperative that when we're developing up our strategy and we're thinking about how, as a company, we're going to frame things going forward, that we recognise their needs, not just our own perspectives.
For me personally, a big issue would be making sure that iwi are included in everything when it comes to decision making.
Yeah, environmental degradation, I guess. The oceans becoming polluted and lack of fish and that kind of thing.
Making it more about the people and the community.
Young people today want fulfillment, and it's very values-based, and a lot about that, as we've heard today, is about care for the environment, care for the communities they live in.
There's something here we've got to think through, something to change. What Sanfords have done, I think, in some senses, is a blueprint for corporate New Zealand. I mean, we must not miss out on the voices of nearly a quarter of the population, and we're going to be the richer for it and the better for it.
To come in and actually be listened to by the CEO of such a big company was really quite impressive. I actually felt really valued as a 20-year-old student, so, which, yeah, that was my highlight from today.
Really cherish the environment that we have in New Zealand because it's really valuable and none of this can exist without that.
Don't forget about the little guy at the very bottom, you know, and enable him as much as you can. That's what I would say.
You know, regardless of our age, it really comes down to the fact that we are the next people that Sanford's going to be looking to employ, and if Sanford can make the company as ready for us as possible, then we can do the best with that company.
Okay, so now I'm going to turn to the issue of marine plastics. The oceans and the life that lies within it are the natural capital that Sanford's business relies on to create value. It's therefore imperative that we do everything in our power to ensure the health of the oceans. So marine plastics is something that's been simmering for some time. It's now become elevated in its profile globally. Current predictions, as many of you may know, are that by 2050, by weight, there'll be more plastics than fish in the world's oceans, and that's indeed a confronting prospect, requiring urgent action on all fronts. Some may consider that to be alarmist, but the reality is, even in the southernmost oceans of Antarctica, where we also fish, we do pick up plastics. So this is really the reality. We're focused on informing research, keeping abreast of developments, and really making a positive difference ourselves in what we do across our operations. So marine plastics is something that's been at Sanford, marine plastic pollution is a key area of focus now, and we ourselves do utilise a lot of plastic in our operations. We know it will be a long journey to becoming part of the solution, not the problem, but that's ultimately where we want to get to. We've established a bold and ambitious goal that by 2025 we'll reduce plastic use across all our operations by 70% and also reuse or recycle those plastics that remain necessary across our operations. And as you might appreciate, that even includes things like nets and ropes and things that we use. So we have in place waste diversion targets. We're continuously looking for ways to reduce the amount of plastic that we use. And we're bringing the issue to life also with our own people, empowering everyone within Sanford to make a personal pledge to reduce plastics in their own lives. We're also reducing plastic packaging across our own operations, and here innovation is really important. A good example is we're working currently with one of our rope suppliers and have come up with a compostable eco tie made of plant-based resin to progressively replace nylon lanyards that we use on our mussel farms. We're also involved in a range of collaborative initiatives, such as research and community activities, and this includes informing international research and development around marine plastics. And in the last year or so, we've presented at APEC, for example, at the East Asia Summit in Bali on the topic to help our Ministry for Foreign Affairs and Trade. Here's some examples of some of the targeted plastic reduction initiatives. You can see here a new cooler bag made of recycled plastic bottles, which we sell through our retail stores and we've given to all people within Sanford. So far, we've bought through 13,000 of these bags. Also shown here are cardboard boxes, which we're progressively using to replace polystyrene boxes for our product, and compostable eco ties also that I mentioned. And of course, that personal plastic pledge isn't just restricted to Sanford, it's something that any of you can get onto our website and sign up to. The third example I want to talk about is climate action, and we are definitely seeing the effects of climate change creep into our own daily lives. In business, we see the effects as consumers, shareholders and businesses move their investment away from fossil fuels and demand to know more about the environmental impacts of the goods and services they buy, and for us, seafood is absolutely no exception here. So for Sanford, we are really conscious of the effects of climate change on the oceans in terms of acidification, warming and sea level rise, all of which we know can cause widespread damage to marine ecosystems. We recognise the ability that we have ourselves to have a positive impact on climate-related challenges, and we've committed ourselves to reduce our carbon emissions considerably to 30% below 2005 levels by 2030. We've focused attention on understanding our own footprint, our climate-related risks, and the transition pathway that we're on to a low-carbon future. Like many businesses, we're adapting to climate change and see it as a catalyst for innovation. In our own state-of-the-art mussel factory called Spat NZ, a world first is one such example. We also see opportunities to mitigate effects, for example through possible investment in things like kelp farming and the application of mussel shells to land, and also the potential to contribute positively to increasing the removal of carbon from the atmosphere and ocean through our own research. Of course, we can't do any of this alone. It's a massive issue. We're partnering with others to mobilise climate action on a number of fronts, and more of this collaboration will definitely continue. So we're spread throughout the length of New Zealand. The blue boxes show where we've got operations. And for our fishing and aquaculture operations, increasing temperature, winds, extreme weather events and coastal changes are starting to have a profound effect on the ocean environment and an impact on our own operations. In 2018, we definitely experienced climate-related challenges across a number of areas within our business and see it as our #1 business risk. So that's why mitigation and adaptation to climate change are both so important to us. Just the last one I want to touch on, albeit very briefly, is around partnership. It's a really important area to us that we invest heavily, because we know that if we want to achieve the scale and pace of change that are, in line with our ambitions, that it's really important that we work together, and we do this across a number of areas and a number of forums. And just briefly, partnerships help us to deliver things like innovation, which we wouldn't otherwise be able to achieve on our own. So these are around the science-based type innovation, the new product developments that I've alluded to, technical and process-focused initiatives as well. And innovation has seen product diversification into nutraceuticals and cosmeceuticals like muscle powder for gut health and anti-inflammation, and also collagen for skincare from Hoki skins, and this is one that people get really excited about. And also SPAT NZ, as I've mentioned, it's another example that's delivering significant benefits to Sanford, but also to the industry as a whole. And the last one I'm going to mention is precision seafood harvesting, a development in conjunction with several other seafood companies and the government, which is starting to revolutionise the way we fish. So just in summary, Sanford has realised significant value to our business through our transformational journey, and some of the key highlights to leave you with are that we've created a direction that's bold, visionary, leads change and delivers results. Embedding sustainability across all facets of the operation has been fundamental to this success and has been the foundation for our growth. We've definitely challenged our conventional business model, and we're on that journey to transform into a value-focused, consumer-driven, innovative company that others have spoken about. Investing time and effort into stakeholder engagement and materiality has been a really important part of informing our strategy development. And without doubt, our reporting against financial as well as environmental, social and governance, or ESG, has enabled investors to better assess the true value that the business represents. And integrated reporting drives a much more well-rounded dialogue with stakeholders, and for us it's opened up new opportunities to collaborate, innovate and drive value creation together. So I'm just going to leave you now with the image of Charlie once again, and the message that integrated thinking and reporting and a clear focus on sustainability at the core, we've got many opportunities to turn aspirations into action, and innovation, partnerships and collaboration are key to this. So what will the future hold for Charlie and those generations that come after? Well, really it's in our hands. Will she achieve her aspiration to be a marine biologist? And in fact, how different might the marine environment be from what it is today? So at Sanford, we believe that our transformational journey is the only sensible option, and it will be exciting really to see where this takes us, and for us the alternative really doesn't bear thinking about. Thank you.